Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome and welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Monday, July 27th. We're in the final week of life changes and reprioritizing. And today we want to talk about reprioritizing your mind.
It goes with what we were intending all weekend long, that we were going to think about peace, prioritize peace over productivity. That's one example of reprioritizing our mind. There are other examples, and that's what we wanted to talk about today.
That's right. And I wanted to get us started by getting us back to some basics when it comes to reprioritizing your mind. Now, we have a handout that we give some of our coaching clients when it is appropriate, and it's titled, What Do You Believe? And it follows a nice flow where we start with our beliefs, then imagine some arrows going between these words. You go from your beliefs to your thoughts and feelings to your actions, and then ultimately the outcome, what happens in real life. And what we teach our clients and what we're teaching you today is that you could change any part of this chain, but if you don't change the beliefs, the changes won't last. You can try to change your thoughts. You can try to change your feelings. You can try to change your actions, and you can try your best to change those outcomes. But if you don't change the underlying beliefs, those changes will be short-lived. You can white-knuckle it for a while. We can rely on willpower alone until our willpower runs out. But we have to get to this place where we've changed the fundamental core beliefs that we have in order to truly create lasting change. And that's where reprioritizing our mind comes in.
So what you're sharing is, if I don't believe that peace is possible, my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, and my outcome will line up more to my belief as opposed to this desire to have peace over productivity.
That's 100% right. If your core belief is there's no such thing as peace or peace isn't possible,
or I'll never have peace,
you can white knuckle it for a while and you could try to force your thinking to change. I'm just going to think about peaceful things. I'm going to watch puppy dogs on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and only find things that I enjoy to include in my life. How long can you do that though? There's only so many puppy dog videos that you can watch. I like them. But then eventually, hopefully sooner as opposed to later, I have to put my phone down and get back to life. I can't always be watching puppy dog videos. I can't always be watching beautiful scenes and birds and stuff like that. Eventually, I'm going to have to get out in the world and interact with other people. So if I'm interacting with other people and then I start with, I would like to have peace, but that's not going to happen for me. Your willpower is only going to take you so far because no matter what you do, even if you try not to make a fuss, even if you try to have peaceful thoughts, the core belief hasn't changed. So the core belief will start working its way through that chain eventually. So we have to get to this place where we start changing our beliefs. If we can change our beliefs, the thoughts, feelings, actions, and outcomes will follow. If we want a peaceful life and believe peace is possible, believe I deserve peace, I'm worthy of peace, all those wonderful beliefs about peace, it will get to a place where we start having more peaceful thoughts. And they're true and they're meaningful. Our feelings will also be more peaceful. Our actions will then work themselves out so they contribute to a life of peace. Then, of course, the outcomes are it's a peaceful life. But we got to go back to that belief. And this is where we can start having curiosity, where if there's this life that we want, if there's this outcome that we desire, what beliefs do we have about that life? If I want peace, but I don't believe peace is possible because they don't line up, and it's not magical, it's not like, well, I'm not going to have peace because I'm doing something wrong. I didn't will it into existence. It's just that's the way life works. Whatever we believe, eventually our actions will follow what we believe. So if we're all angry, we're full of hate and rage, if that's what's going on inside of us, and we're angry at everyone and we believe everyone's done us wrong, our actions and then the ultimate outcome will match and mirror that anger that's inside. And we've seen it too around the coaching table. People who are just so mad at life, they're trying to be nice, and we can tell. We don't take it personally. We know what's going on inside of them. They're trying to be very nice people, and they are at their hearts, but they're so mad it just oozes out of them. So no matter how nice they try to be, that core belief that they have that is leading to anger about life, that then is affecting them. It's affecting their mind. So we have to reprioritize our mind and start working with those core beliefs. Even if we don't necessarily believe them in this moment, we have to start changing our beliefs in order to change that chain, in order to change our thoughts and feelings, in order to change our actions, and then ultimately to change the outcomes.
The difficulty here, and this is why I think coaching is so important, our core beliefs are not always obvious. If I was announcing, like I did last Friday, I'm choosing peace over productivity. Remember, I had this whole story, how it took me 65 years to get this, but now I've got it. I could have said the same thing 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Oh, I'm prioritizing peace over productivity. But I didn't believe it until just recently. I didn't believe that peace was more important than productivity.
So you could see when you didn't believe peace was more important than productivity, you naturally defaulted to productivity.
And my life didn't change.
So now when you're accurately identifying and believing peace is actually more important than productivity, your productivity may have gone down, but you're getting peace, which you are saying that's more important.
There was something inside of me that didn't believe either that peace was possible, that I wasn't worth peace, that peace wasn't really that important, even if I was trying to talk myself into it. And that's where these core beliefs aren't always obvious. That's why I love coaching, because sometimes just by having a conversation, coaching is a conversation, we can hear ourselves say things, or we get a moment of aha, oh, this is what I've been doing. And then we can truly make the life changes and reprioritize the way we want to. Otherwise, we're giving lip service to something that sounds good and it does line up. But if that core belief is, Annette, you're not worth having a peaceful life. Annette, a peaceful life is just not in the cards for you. Annette, if you have a peaceful life, that means that you're going to neglect all these other parts of life. I mean, if I have all those beliefs going on, that's going to affect my thoughts about how I prioritize my life. It's going to affect my feelings. It's going to affect my actions. And then I'm going to have the outcome that I had for all those years is sometimes I would start my Sundays completely exhausted because I wanted things to look a certain way at the end of Saturday night. But that wasn't peaceful. That was not prioritizing peace. And I have to say that where this got me is I had to realize that I am worth having a peaceful life.
So we're just about out of time for today. And I want to keep this conversation going tomorrow because, Annette, since you're going through this pretty much live, I want to hear what shifted in you to change that belief. So that's tomorrow. But for today, our intention is I will be intentional with recognizing the beliefs I have that no longer serve me. I will be intentional with recognizing the beliefs that I have that no longer serve me. Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.